The ship that saved 700 Titanic survivors was Torpedoed 2. In 1912, the Carpathia raced through the night and pulled hundreds of freezing passengers from the sinking Titanic. 6 years later, a German submarine hunted her down in the same ocean and sent her to the bottom as well. Under Captain Arthur Rostron, the Carpathia had raced through icy, iceberg-filled waters to reach the Titanic's last position, arriving about 90 minutes after she sank. She pulled 710 survivors from lifeboats into the freezing dark, becoming one of the most celebrated rescue ships in maritime history. 6 years later, in the middle of the First World War, Carpathia was crossing the Atlantic in a convoy when a German submarine fired 3 torpedoes into her hull. The second struck the engine room directly, killing 5 crewmen instantly and flooding the ship fast. Within about an hour and 45 minutes, Carpathia rolled over and sank roughly 120 miles from the Irish coast. Her escort, a small warship called Snowdrop, drove off the attacking submarine with gunfire and pulled every lifeboat of survivors safely from the water. Of the 223 people aboard that day, 218 survived, an extraordinary outcome for a torpedoed ocean liner. Only 5 men were lost, the same crew who had once helped save hundreds of strangers, pulled from a sinking ship 6 years earlier. The submarine that sank her, U-55, survived the entire war intact. It surrendered to the Royal Navy that November and was eventually scrapped years later in Japan. The Hunter outlived its most famous kill by years, the ship that had once rescued the survivors of the Titanic. Carpathia is remembered today for one single night of heroism in 1912, not for the morning 6 years later when she herself went down in the cold Atlantic. The ship that once carried the Titanic survivors home now rests on the seafloor herself, torpedoed and forgotten by most. The ship that saved 700 Titanic survivors really was Torpedoed 2, sunk by the very kind of war she had nothing to do with the night she made her name. She pulled 700 strangers from the sea once, and in the end, the sea took her instead.